This feels very familiar and very strange. I've definitely done this before. I feel like a kid in my mom's basement. Hello! I'm so nervous. I guess I'm not used to being, I'm not used to talking out loud as myself, alone. I'm almost always co-conscious with Jillian. And this feels very, very, very familiar. Very familiar. But I guess I'll just tuck into these questions. I'm drinking raspberry tea with honey and a little bit of milk. It kind of makes it pink, but not really. Ooh. Yum. Okay, that helps. Fuel. Fuel, fuel, fuel. I got this. Okay. Hello. My name is Flora, and I am a caretaker in our system. It's really nice to meet you guys. But it's very exciting for me to be filming a whole video of just me talking all just about myself. It's very, very interesting and intimidating, so please be warm to me. I don't feel particularly tied to a certain age. We estimate that I float around 18 just based off of where most of my memories are from. I suppose the times where I was fronting the most frequently. Nowadays I spend a lot of time inside doing a lot of caretaking and emotional support and really just talking back and forth with other parts, especially Jillian, Cliff, and Barry. But since we discovered what everything has been going on with the dissociative identity disorder and everything, Jillian and I have been spending a lot of time kind of tag teaming together with co-consciousness, because she has a lot of the knowledge about like things going on in our life and relationships with our friends and family and business people. But she struggles with a lot of that really intense anxiety and PTSD symptoms. So we discovered that both of us kind of working together and tag teaming it is a really successful way where I can help her stay motivated and positive and not catastrophize as much. She has a really, really big problem with catastrophizing, and she knows that and she would admit that, so I don't think I'm outing her or anything. She is a teeny tiny bit co-con, but I'm trying to fly on my own. It's difficult for me. I really like to stay inside. I have a very, very vivid space in our inner world that means a lot to me, and I'm very, very comfortable there, and we do a lot of healing in there, a lot of conversations. I have a couch that people can sleep on anytime they need to crash there, and I always have an ear and I can put the kettle on in a moment. So I just really love being able to be that for people. I can feel sadness and I can feel worry. I know in DID I think sometimes you can have parts that only feel certain emotions. I think I do feel a full range of emotions, but I'm much, much, much less affected by the GAD and PTSD, and I don't believe I experience any borderline personality disorder symptoms at all, which is another big purpose for me to help tag team with Jill as she's been going through this learning journey and healing journey with her BPD, which I'm really proud of her for. Sorry. I feel like I'm rambling quite a bit, and I also feel like I'm speaking very quietly, so I'm going to trek along into the next one. I'm so sorry. Hey, before we head any further into the video, I just want to stop and give a big thank you to Casetify for supporting the channel. Casetify is an excellent place online for you to pick up cases and accessories for your phone. They have hundreds of designs from many, many, many different artists. Jill spent hours scrolling and scrolling and scrolling before finally deciding on
on these cute little numbers. Their cases are really slim and sleek. It doesn't have like a big crazy thick bumper on it. Their cases offer protection from an up to 11.5-foot drop. The level of protection that you're gonna get with a Casetify case is actually 5 times the military standard, which means they have been drop tested 130 times. The Casetify case fits comfortably in my hands as I ask my partner to bring me a little Powerade back from the store. Another thing Casetify is really known for is their customization options. They ended up picking out 3 different quite feminine, like Jill-centric pixie cases. And then for the custom one, we let Jer have a go. They sent us this other chain as well, this phone strap, which is really beautiful and long. I think this is so you can turn it into like a crossbody kind of moment. This crowd should know that they also have some cute like beaded smiley rainbow versions as well. We just ended up going for the chain this time. Casetify also has some really great efforts towards sustainability. Their iPhone 14 Impact series is made from 65% recycled and plant-based material, and they're also partially made up from upcycled phone cases. This is part of the Re-Casetify program, giving new life to post-consumer waste. I was really jazzed when I found that out as well. My previous phone case was from a competitor, I suppose, but it pretty much just started falling apart. I've only had this for less than a year, and it just started to like crumble. This is another eco-friendly like compostable case, but I don't want it to decompose in my hands while I'm using it. So I'm really excited to try out their plant-based. This is the plant-based Casetify case. And I'm sure it will hold up better than this unnamed competitor. If you guys have ever seen a Casetify ad before, you know we are about to launch our phone at a hard surface. So this is the drop test, like we were mentioning. We did it twice. We did one in slow-mo and one where you could see the full height it was falling from, and yeah, she's still doing good. And of course we have a little promo for you guys, so you can get 15% off of your order at Casetify with the link in my description. I really recommend it. Like I said, Jill spent hours scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and picking through all of their many super cute designs. And I think you'd have fun as well. So thanks so much again to Casetify for supporting the channel by sponsoring this video, and let's get back to it.
What is my height internally? I think I'm around the same as Jillian. The height question is a little bit silly. Are you an A&P or EP? I don't know if we've talked about this. I believe I am an apparently normal part. I remain a bit more calm and collected, and I have a bit less stress with social interactions and conversations. I definitely take over on the phone sometimes and at, you know, the cashier when we're checking out stores and things like that. I just really enjoy chatting with people, and I really don't mind. Yes, especially because I don't experience I haven't yet experienced any major BPD emotions in myself as a fragment of this whole. Not fragment, I am a full part. But speaking as if we were a pie of sorts, a piece of the pie, I'd say I'm, yes, an apparently normal part. Despite perhaps things we're going to get into later about my being a fictive might make it seem a little bit surprising that I'm apparently normal, but the A&P EP label is all about how emotions are processed within each part. So yeah. Sorry, I'm so rambling. Do I remember much of my life before system discovery and diagnosis? I can now. I can. There was quite an era where I think I was highly influential. A lot of our time in Lolita fashion and other types of J fashion, and I think our inclination towards witchcraft very much mostly lays within myself. But yes, looking back, there are certainly lots of instances. Perhaps they could be edited in here a little bit just to show like photos looking back, maybe artwork or maybe videos, I have no idea. But looking back, I can tell. I formed shortly after our stay in the psych ward in grade 9. Because in the summer between middle school and high school, for us, grade 9 is middle school, and then grade 10 is the first year of high school, 10, 11, 12. When I came back to high school, I was like a completely different person. A lot of my interests had shifted. A lot of my personality had changed. I was also finally put on medication, which I think has helped us and our brain in general to regulate our emotions a bit more and feel a bit more joy. There were also shifts in relationships and friendships and where we spent our time. I remember a lot of that. I don't want to get too into it because there were a lot of other people involved and we've been on YouTube for a long time, so it's easy to scroll back and see. But I certainly remember fronting more for different relationships and friendships and endeavors and hobbies. But I like the present. I like the present a lot. What do I look like inside? I'm not sure if Jillian ever finished my illustration. But I know what I look like, so we'll get her to finish it and we'll put it here. I have kind of hair sort of like this, but it cuts off about here. I do look quite similar to the body. I have blue eyes for some reason, and I like to wear very frilly pink fashion and dresses. I'm sure we can put up several photos as well from my more frequently fronting eras, I suppose. Yeah, I guess for a while I really did kind of dress how I liked. Like, this wig was from those days. I don't believe anyone has any nicknames for me. Oh, Jillian calls me Flora Borealis. What are your interests? I very, very much enjoy nature, plants, going for walks, appreciating the sky. I believe I mentioned earlier I am probably the part who is the most into witchcraft and paganism, not specifically Wicca, but I really do believe in magic. I also suppose this is probably an appropriate time to get into the fact that I am an Introject from the series Pretty Cure. I'm so nervous to talk about this. I feel like I'm revealing my secret identity. I think it might be best to start explaining the purpose of my formation, my splitting. Jillian and Jarek were at a point, I suppose Veronica as well, but Veronica doesn't really feel many bad emotions, or at least that's my understanding of it. She doesn't hold pain as much, but Jillian and Jarek were really, really not able to continue as they were. They didn't see a way forward into the future. It was after a close call with suicide. The only way that Jillian could see herself moving forward and having anything to live for, and the only way to enjoy life would be to mirror the most positive, joyful, uplifting, hope-filled thing that sparked that warmth in her heart. And not a lot of things did. We were diagnosed with depression at that point, and that was really, really difficult. They were struggling with depression and bulimia and anorexia as well. After that stay in the hospital, I came to existence to be a hopeful, joyful part that was completely dissociated from the depression, the BPD, the PTSD, many memories I don't have access to, because I wouldn't be able to stay this way, and they still really need me to stay this way. And that's okay, because we can talk now and communicate now and all strive towards the same goal. And that's why I'm really, really happy to be here as well, filming a video like this. I'm really, really happy with our life now. And I'm happy to still be a part of it. I suppose that also didn't really explain the Introject part. And the way that a mind with dissociative identity disorder kind of forms new parts and new alters is that it takes what it thinks would protect it in this moment. A strong, stoic, calculated man perhaps would not have been harassed and attacked in a club. A sensual, flirtatious, free-thinking woman who's very hypersexual wouldn't be affected by, again, sexual trauma. And with the way our mind already as well has many other comorbid disorders, Jillian is extremely, extremely obsessed with the Pretty Cure franchise. If you guys have been on the channel for any amount of time, you definitely know that. It is her #1 strongest, most beloved interest, side by side with the band Muse. She was consuming hundreds of episodes of this show, collecting the merchandise, spending a lot of time online in spaces discussing the series. And the series is meant for young children to uplift them, to inspire them, to give them powerful female role models that always know how to fight through crisis, that always know the kind thing to say. Our strong, kind, beautiful tattoo is because those sayings and those phrases from Pretty Cure genuinely got us through and saved our lives. I know that's been said many times about many things, but that's true for us. We had no idea that I was like a Introject from this show, and I am not a specific copy of any character. We don't have any alters that function that way. That is one thing I definitely want to make very clear. And I know that I am not from the show. I know that I do not live in like the Precure land. I don't feel like I stepped out of a TV and I'm confused. I don't feel like this technology or world is foreign in any way. I'm simply a dissociated identity that was formed to be filled with all of the uplifting messages and mottos and strength of this series that means the absolute world to a number of us. So yes, please don't think that I'm like delusional in thinking that I am a real character from an anime. That is absolutely not the case. I know that I am a part in a brain that has a dissociative disorder, and that I was formed because the host was watching a lot of one show during a very, very traumatic life or death situation where they had no idea how they could move forward with the brain that they had, and how intense and fiery and self-destructive it was on a daily basis. I existed to be cut off from that, and in repayment for this sort of blissful ignorance, I guess, that I have, I really, really strive to care for and help heal and soothe this tortured body and brain. It deserves peace and rest. That's what I'm here for. This has gotten very surprisingly emotional. I did not expect that. I'm sorry. I care I care for everyone around me, in my brain, and externally so deeply. The question that all of that unraveled from was just asking about my interests. I'm sorry. But that may have been a question that, I'm not sure, some of you may have had. If anyone assumed that I was the type of Introject that wholeheartedly believes that they are the character from their source and they have like memories from, like pseudo-memories from their source and they miss the home of their source, none of those things are things that I personally relate to. I respect those feelings absolutely. Those are very real experiences that other DID systems do experience, but it's just not the case for me as a fictional Introject. I don't miss my precure pals in any sense. I don't feel like I have memories with Cure Twinkle and I need to reconvene with her. That is not the case. And so as for my interests and hobbies, yeah, I do enjoy practicing this real world's modern witchcraft. I really enjoy cleaning. It's very satisfying for me to just kind of set the house back to normal, settle things around. I love lighting candles and making things smell really wonderful. One of my favorite things to do is probably tend to the plants. We've had a lot of success with our most recent succulents, and it just brings me a lot of joy and a lot of fulfillment to see the progress on the plants growing and growing and growing. I really enjoy going for walks. I think I mentioned that earlier as well. And I really like making people tea at the end of the night. I'm not sure if that's a hobby, but maybe it's just a part of my role and routine in the system that I really enjoy. I have some here today with me, even though it's not quite the evening yet. I think I mentioned it earlier, but yeah, that's just a really important part of a little thing that I do to help us relax and ground and cap off the day. It really makes me happy. The music I like is quite an interesting blend. I don't listen to music as like a coping activity like some of the other members tend to do. I've heard that Jarek and Jax will pretty much make a whole night out of just playing music on the stereo or on the TV and just singing and dancing and stimming around. I think that's wonderful. I think that's a really healthy way to get out excess energy and express emotion. I think that's really wonderful. I like to listen to music while I do other things, and it's always a very interesting, jarring mix of kind of old, upbeat, like soft rock music, like ABBA, The Kinks, and then interspliced with a lot of music from Pretty Cure and Vocaloid and other really happy, uplifting J-pop and things like that. Sorry if that's very typical, but I really love just anything super happy and upbeat. I tend to pick from music that I hear Jillian and the others listening to, and I kind of pick out the songs that I like. Yeah, it's kind of all over the place, and it doesn't define my identity, and like touch my soul quite as deeply as it does like Jarek and Jillian. Which clothing style do you prefer? I was really excited for this question. I am very passionate and interested with fashion. I just love beautiful things and pretty things and community and history. I find it very fascinating and interesting, and I really love things like hibegyaru. I really love Lolita fashion. I do miss it sometimes, but I don't think we'll be going back or purchasing anything anytime soon. We do dream about it sometimes, but I definitely remember a lot of that era. Inner World, I'm almost always in some sort of frilly, layered pink dress number, and I like to wear the same sort of thing out here. Just lots of pink, lots of lace, lots of layers. I don't wear bright colors much like Jillian at all, and I'm absolutely not wearing chains or spikes or anything of that sort like Jarek or maybe Jax. Favorite social media accounts and creators. I was ready for this one when I was getting ready today, doing my makeup. I absolutely adore this chubby vintage Nana. Your Chubby Vintage Nana, I believe is her username. She brings us so much warmth and comfort and joy. She is adorable. All of her TikToks are very lovingly crafted. She has such a beautiful way of framing things and such a soft, gentle voice and such a warm heart, and I just adore her a lot. There's also this lovely kind man who's actually in our town in Fredericton, and he is super sweet and lovely, and sometimes he'll show us videos of his garden, which make me really, really excited. But he usually does cocktails and milkshakes and sundaes and different things like that. So I love creators that are often like elderly folk, just being sweet. Q&A question time. Alright, there's a lot of wonderful questions. Thank you guys so much. KitKat1317 asks, what is it like being fictional? Do you feel separated from the rest of the system at all? I think this is a really great question to go along with what I was chatting about earlier, about the way that I function and formed as an introject, where I know that I'm a very real human being or part in a DID system, an alter, a part of a whole, and I know that I formed with a lot of inspiration and traits that were sponged from this media in sort of a collective mix-match way, not of any single particular character, but of the morals and message and overall energy of the show as a whole. But I've lived a very real life out here. I've had relationships, I've gone to theater classes, I've gone to high school, I've had friends, I've taken pictures, I've gone on trips. I just had no idea that I was a dissociated part. I thought we just lived a very confusing and chaotic life with mental illness, which is a fact that we had known since we were very, very young. But I do have real memories from this real life, and no memories from, no like pseudo memories from the show or anything. I just believe in fighting for friendship with warmth and conversation, and kindness and patience for other people. So I don't really feel different to the other parts in that way. They also all formed based on what our brain subconsciously thought would protect it and help it continue forward with our life. Sometimes that is like a fatherly figure who's logical and calm, like Cliff. Sometimes it is a child part to hold innocence and joy. Sometimes it's a trauma holding part, like Jer, because we can't function if we all feel that. But essentially, I kind of formed the same way everyone else did. It was just sponged from a specific and particular place. Thank you for your question. It was really, really great. Really, really good question. Ray asks, what is your favorite plant or flower? I was very excited when I saw this one. I must say our little pickle plant has been growing absolutely astronomically. I am so proud of that little guy. That plant has certainly been the absolute most fulfilling and exciting one to watch. We picked him up just earlier this year during the summer, and he has like tripled in size, and there are so many little tiny buds starting to bloom, and it's just so exciting. It's very, very easy to propagate the little leaves and stick them back in. So it's called Burro's Tail. I like to call it a pickle plant just because it's fun to say, but it is called Burro's Tail or Donkey's Tail, I believe. I'll put up the proper name here, but I have to say it is a succulent, but that is probably my favorite because it's been so rewarding and exciting to peek in and see super, super, super fast growth. And it's really cute. Ooh. Her name is Specca asks, do you get jealous / separation anxiety or something along those lines when people on the outside can take care of Jillian / Pixie in a way that used to be your tasks? A bit like how a parent has to let go, control / care when the kid can do more. Does that make sense? That makes sense. I don't think so at all. I am just overjoyed that she has better people around her now, and that we have better people around us. It only brings me joy and comfort to see people being truly, truly kind to her, with no ulterior motives. We've had quite a line of unfortunate characters in our life. So when I see other people externally taking care of her, and by taking care of, I suppose I just mean emotional support, having a good friend circle, making the home a comfortable space, lending an ear. It is only a good thing if the person you can cry on and lend an ear to is not in your head. I very much see that. I'm not jealous at all. She deserves, and we all deserve, to have people that aren't alternate personalities or identities. We deserve to have external people that care for us. Definitely don't see that as a bad thing. Really, really great question though. No, I'm just happy to see that things are better. Tony Not Tony asks, are you comfy with all the young queer women with anxiety seeing you and Veronica as their kind, sweet older sister who they feel safe asking advice from? That's a sweet and interesting question. I would dare to say I would not go to Veronica for advice. She has many wonderful qualities, but unbiased, non-impulsive, clear-headed judgment is not her strong suit. Or if someone were to come asking for advice from anyone in our system, I would say Cliff, myself, Jill. Jackson Jarrett can also be wonderful for more gritty conversations about hairier subjects. Am I comfortable with it? As long as it doesn't develop into some sort of parasocial or problematic situation, sure, I guess. Mothra asks, as a fictive, in what ways have you grown to differ from your original source material? Have you changed or have you stayed relatively the same to your TV series counterpart? Much love. As for my TV series counterpart, if any people in the Precure fandom want to know particularly, obviously I go by the name FLORA, and I take a lot of traits from kind of several of the pink lead cures. If I had to say which blend of Pretty Cure characters I probably soaked up most of the attributes and inspiration from, it would likely be Cure Flora, Cure Yell. I look the most like Cure Miracle, and Cure Marine is probably the one that inspired us most with going to fashion school and our entire life goals and all of that. How have I differed from those characters and the Precure franchise as a whole? I definitely have been living life and having experiences and relationships, like I mentioned. So I have been kind of formed by those experiences further in life. General character development stuff, if we're going to look at it like that. I guess I'm just, I guess I'm more into things like Japanese fashion, and I'm aware of like our YouTube channel and things like that. I'm very in tune with the real world and helping our life goal. So those are ways that I am not just stuck in like some sort of anime character delusion that would not help us function. very much at all. But I would say I have stayed very much relatively close to how I started, because like I said, I'm an apparently normal part, so I'm not really affected much by traumas and things like that. I've remained really able to just soothe and caretake and kind of help the system along. Okay, I feel like I have talked a lot. I feel like I've taken up enough of your time. Thank you guys very, very much for watching this video with me. Please forgive me if I'm a little bit nervous, and please forgive me if the sound is off or the lighting's off or anything like that. I guess I want to just, I would really like to say thank you guys. I see your kindness, I see your love, I see your support, and I see how happy it makes Jill and all of us. And to those of you that really kindly and warmly support us, just thank you so much. It does not go unappreciated. You mean the world to us, and thank you for sticking through another little Meet the Altar. Thank you guys very much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take it easy. Relax your shoulders. Drink some water. Take some time for you. And yeah, be well and be warm. We're going into colder climates in this part of the hemisphere. So yeah, thank you very, very kindly, and someone will see you in the next video. Bye.